episode of Classic Gamer 74. I'm your host, Anthony Gamer, and today we're going to continue on with our life simulation game units as we'll discuss The Sims. And in this episode, we'll discuss the expansions of The Sims and some tips and tricks to help you get the most out of this award-winning and legendary game. So first off, let's talk about the 7 expansions and what they added to the game overall.
And the very first expansion to be released was Living Large. This was released on August 31st in the year 2000. This added new characters, careers, items, and features for the home. Definitely added a lot of cool things. The robot servo that was able to keep your house clean and make meals if you wanted to, and the djinn, which again was something really interesting to mess with because you could either make your wishes come true or even burn down your house. The second expansion set is probably my personal favorite. That is House Party. It was released in April of 2001. This gave you the ability to add facilities and to hold parties and gatherings in your house. Really cool if you had a neighborhood party and it was successful, Drew Carey would show up. If your party was boring, a mime would show up. And if your party was way too wild, the police would show up. Added a lot of depth to the game and the ability to have more music, which I'll talk about a little bit later. Next up is Hot Date. Now, it took me a while to really get into this one because I was just content to play with Living Large and House Party for quite a while. Making some of the mods I got and then getting some stuff off Mall of the Sims and other online places. But eventually I decided I wanted to try out all the expansions. Now this expansion came out in November of 2001. It added new items, characters, and ability for Sims to leave their homes to new destinations. This also was the first appearance of Downtown. 10 new lots, revamped relationship system, carry inventory, and you were able to give gifts to other Sims. So love was definitely in the air in this one, and the downtown area was really, really cool. Next up, we have another one that I really actually enjoyed, and that is Vacation. This was released in March of 2002. You got to go to a place called Vacation Island. This is the first time the Sims can stay away from home. Purchase and find souvenirs, stay at a hotel, rent a tent or an igloo. There's all kinds of fun stuff to do here. I'll warn you, though, that the food that they have at these vacation spots is not as good as the food that you may have at home, especially if one of your Sims happens to be a really good cook. So just keep that in mind that you maybe spend a lot of time in the bathroom, and when they come home, they're usually more tired than when they left. But still, it's kind of neat for them to get away from home for a change. Next up, we had one that took me a while to get into, but once I got the hang of it, I really enjoyed it, and that is Unleashed. This was released in November of 2002. This introduces pets into the game. Now, before that, you could actually buy these weird kind of pet creatures at Mall of the Sims and other online sources, but mostly they walked around and pooped and then eventually died. However, this one allows dogs and cats to be treated as Sims themselves, introducing gardening, and expands 10 lot neighborhoods to 40. Modify lots to shops, all kind, and cafes and commercial establishments. Really a big add-on that's more than just adding on the pets. But once you get the hang of the pets, it's just really cool. All right, now here, the last two I was not all that crazy about personally. This one is called Superstar. It was released in May of 2003. It allows Sims to become entertainment figures, adds new work and leisure items, adds studio tour, functions as a workplace for celebrity Sims. So, yeah, really couldn't get into it that much as I did the previous ones, but, still, if you've ever dreamed of being a rock star or of some kind, you can do it through The Sims. And the final expansion for the original Sims is this one, Making Magic. It was released in October 2003. Wow, this one you cast spells, forge charms, alchemy products, Magic Town, with lots of Magic-related mini games. It adds additional residential lots in Magic Town. So yeah, it's interesting. The spells are really cool sometimes because you can really do some pretty cool stuff with them. But overall, by this point, I think they were kind of running out of ideas, and I think with the emergence of Harry Potter, people were jumping on the Magic bandwagon. So this would be the final expansion for the original Sims. Now, before we get into the tips and tricks section, I'd like to talk about some Sims Lost Media. And yes, there actually is some Sims Lost Media, and this was actually announced as a trailer before one of the games, and this is the Lost crossover of SimCity and The Sims called Simsville. Well, I'm going to get my information directly here from the website, thelostmediawiki.com. If you haven't checked out that website, it is awesome. They've got so much stuff on Lost Media of any kind, and you can join up and maybe help in the search for some stuff. So anyway, again, this is coming directly from the page on Simsville. Simsville is a canceled 2000-2001 PC crossover game of SimCity and The Sims that was to be developed by Maxis and was to be published by Electronic Arts. Before the game was canceled, the game was shown at E3 2001 and was announced to be released in early 2002. Gameplay. From what was announced and shown about the gameplay of Simsville was going to be similar to The Sims overall, but with a big city aspect inspired by SimCity. The player could import their custom-made Sim families to the new game. However, instead of players directly controlling the Sims' lives, they instead have to respond to their needs and wants, like buying things for them, while expanding the Sims neighborhood with more shops, buildings, and houses. All right, cancellation and availability. Though a trailer for the game was available as a sneak peek on SimCity 3000 Unlimited and the Sims Live Enlarged CDs, as well as a demo at E3 2001, the game was canceled in September 2001 due to Maxis' decision to focus more on the expansion packs for The Sims in response to its surprising success. Though the game was canceled, some later games in the series applied some aspects of the game, including a downtown area in The Sims expansion pack, The Sims Hot Date. The feedback from Citizens Gimmick was used in the 2003 PC City Simulator game SimCity 4, and the 3D view of the neighborhood was used in the 2004 follow-up to the original game The Sims. In spite of this, no builds of Simsville have been leaked to the public, and all that exists about the game are some screenshots and its trailers. And thank you once again to the Lost Media Wiki for the information. Now, I remember when I first got Living Large years ago, I remember that trailer that was on there. I'm not going to put the trailer on because I think it's trademarked and all that, and I don't really want to get in trouble. But anyway, you can actually find the trailer online at like YouTube and other places and on the Lost Media Wiki. I remember seeing the trailer and I thought, wow, this is kind of neat. But then when the other expansions came out, I totally forgot about it until much later on. Actually, years later, I'm like, oh, wait a minute, because I just assumed that some of the later expansions took whatever they had planned, and they did to a point. However, there are lots of other Lost Media associated with the Sims universe, which I'll talk about in a later episode.
Now it's time for some tips and tricks. And I've been playing this game since it first came out, so I've learned a few things along the way to help you get more out of your Sims playing experience. So here's just a few tips to help you along the way.
All right, one of the biggest problems in The Sims is, much like real life, the question of money. How do you get all the stuff that you want and need in order to thrive and survive? Well, here's a trick that I learned, and I call it the house trick. What you do is you go online to a place like Mall of the Sims and other online resources, and they are still around. Oh yeah, there's still a community that's interested in the first Sims. So you go online and you get a couple houses you like. Now, when you purchase the house, when you download the house, it will tell you what lot it's on. Now, keep that in mind. So next thing you do is that you create a family and put them on a lot. Let's say, for instance, you put them on lot 5, but keep an eye on the lot number because it's very important. All right, so Once you've downloaded the home, go add it into the files in your Sims. It's in the Maxis, the Sims. Make sure you put house on the right house area, and then you'll put in all the different wallpapers, because usually when you get a custom made home, they have different wallpapers, different carpets, and then they add in those special wallpapers and carpets that are usually dirt cheap. I'm talking like $1 each, which is a lot nicer than some of the prices on here, because let's face it, some of the products for the Sims aren't cheap. So you get a very elaborate house. Now, what I bought here on this lot is a house that's a house and a speakeasy. Then you go through, and this takes a while. Now you go through and you sell off as much stuff as you can. So you grab hold of an item and then you drag it off screen and you'll get money. Now this house is cool because it's got slot machines and a lot of high money items in it. So you sell off as much stuff as you can, and that includes the floor. Then you can go through and make modifications for the house. Now, I enjoyed this house because it gave me a chance to have a house to live in, and then I had a party house. So was able to save some extra money and then have one of the characters or neither work for a while, as you could build up their stats, and then eventually, if you felt like it, when money eventually ran low, then you could send them to work. But in the meantime, your house looks just gorgeous. So that is one easy way to get a dream house on whatever lot you want. Again, make sure when you download the house to check the address on the house before you put it into the game. Another interesting way to make money is to use the Rosebud cheat, which basically you open the text box, you type in the word Rosebud, use a semicolon, space, and then Rosebud again, semicolon, space, and keep going until it runs out of gas, and you'll make some free money that way. But it's really a lot more fun to actually go through, in my opinion, to go through and just customize the house and sell off a lot of that elaborate junk that the house came with that when you got it online. You can do the Rosebud cheat, but like I said, me personally, I really like the fun of just going through the house and taking care of things like that. But that's just me. In order to move up in your careers and to be happy, you have to have friends. Now, what is the trick to making a lot of friends easily? Well, what you have to do is create a house. It doesn't matter. Don't make it elaborate. Just make sure that the only item that's in the house is a telephone. Okay? Now, create as many Sims as you can put in that house. Make them all adults. Put as many in that house as you can. I think they allow 7 or 8. And don't play with them. Just put them in that house, put a telephone in the house, and then you'll be done. And they will come over sometimes and greet you at your home. When you have parties, they'll come over, and it gets you a chance to get a whole lot of friends, at least 7 or 8 friends, because let's face it, in this game you have to have a lot of friends in order to move up the corporate ladder at your job. And also, Sims are very sociable creatures, so getting to make friends is not really that hard. I recommend talking until their like score is around 30. Then compliment, and then hug, give gift, dance. Now be careful about flirting and kissing. Only do that if you really want them to have a sort of relationship. And be careful with that too, because if two Sims have already have an established relationship or marriage, and they witness their partner, hugging, flirting with someone else, it can cause an actual fight. So, just some words to the wise. Add your own music. Let's face it, the music in The Sims is kind of yeah, it's annoying, especially the ones with vocals, because they sing in that Sim language. They don't sing in English. And some of the songs were taken from Streets of SimCity, which, of course, are really awesome. But, like I said, they're in Sim language. So you can add in your own music to the game. What you need to do is break into not break, that make it sound so terrible. Get into the programs. You can see here I'm showing you how to do it in this video. You get in there and you just add whatever songs you want into whatever genre of music you want them to go in. Keep in mind that you can only use MP3 files. Do not put WMA files. Don't put anything else. They have to be MP3 files. And when you play the game, turn on the radio, turn on the stereo, and your music will be playing. So that is one easy way to do it. But again, like I said, make sure you only use MP3 files. I tried WMA and they don't work. So just not too hard. Just get in there and move those files off your hard drive and into your sound files. Like I said, not too hard to do, and it's a cool way to make the game more you. And last of all, people have asked over the years, is it possible to kill the Sims? Yes, you can. I don't know why you would want to do it unless it was like some revenge thing, but anyway, easiest way to do it is to build a pool, have them dive in the pool, and then take the ladder away. Yeah, I don't know why they cannot just get out like the rest of us do, but eventually your Sim will drown and they will die. And then you will either get a headstone or an urn. But I'll warn you, if you kill a Sim on your property, their ghost will come back to haunt you. So don't have your bedroom on the first floor if you plan on doing that, which I don't know why you would. But anyway, so those are some tips and tricks related to The Sims. If you can think of any others that I might have missed or that you'd like to share with other players, please leave them in the comments section below. It would be greatly appreciated. After weeks of preparation and a few setbacks, we are finally going to be discussing Doko Demo Iso next week and learn about the character Toro the cat. Well, that brings this episode of Classic Gamer 74 to a close. I hope you really enjoyed it. If you did, let me know by giving me a big like, subscribe if you haven't already, and don't forget to click that little bell icon down there so you'll be notified when I upload new episodes. Also, check out our Patreon page where we got some videos that are not going to be able to be here on YouTube, at least publicly made available. So please be generous and help us out on Patreon. The link is in the description below. Well, until next time, this is Anthony Gamer. I wish you all a great week, and I will see you all in the next episode. Until then, take care. Bye for now.